Hi everyone, my name is Thierry Gaytan and I'm very happy to see you here in my channel. Now you're about to see a new version of I Want to Leave. Maybe you saw it already. This one has new footage of Oscar. Oscar is the touchy character of this compelling story, based all in real life. Now you can follow me on Instagram, but especially here in my YouTube channel.
Age 17, Mechas is on his own. He often visits his mother's grave. Mechas never had a normal childhood. Almost from birth, he's been surrounded by the violence of the drug cartels. Of his family, he's the last survivor.
Please let nothing happen to me. Take care of me. I beg you. I love you. I'll kill all those bastards. They killed her.
An orphan torn between despair and revenge, Mechas is completely alone. He still doesn't know who killed his mother.
I don't know which asshole did it.
When did it happen?
It's been 2 years.
How old were you?
15.
Are you alone?
Just me.
Who else have they killed in your family?
3 days later, they killed my two brothers. One at 1 o'clock and the other at 7 o'clock.
Who killed them?
The local gangs.
They were hired killers.
Yes.
What about your father?
They killed him too, or he disappeared. I had a sister, and she'd been killed 2 years earlier.
So they've killed your whole family?
My whole family. Now I'm all alone.
You're on your own, so where do you live?
Wherever I happen to be at nightfall.
That's how Mechas became a hired killer. A ruthless child killer with the face of an angel or a demon. Why have these children from Medellín now become criminals? Because Colombia's second city remains a center of cocaine trafficking. Here, in an effort to keep order, the Air Force is used to support ground operations in the more dangerous neighborhoods. We support the work of the police when they're conducting operations in the slums against the drug terrorists, against militias and guerrillas who are waiting in ambush in these neighborhoods. These US-trained special commandos back up the police in Medellín. These are the sort of combat weapons we use here to respond to their attacks, because they have the same weapons as us. But we will succeed with these powerful weapons like assault rifles and submachine guns. Routine yet very muscular operations where the sicarios, or child killers, rule the neighborhood. Las Comunas, the slums on the hills, Carpinello, Belencito, Corazon, Manrique, worse than the Bronx, Harlem, or Chicago. With over 15 murders a day, Medellín is considered one of the world's capitals of crime. Such operations rarely lead to much, in most cases, but have become a ritual for the police and for the residents of these neighborhoods, jaded by such scenes of violence. This operation was supposed to liberate a hostage and capture the kidnappers. Once again, though, it's a large-scale flop. 2 weeks later in the same area, clashes between police and criminals will leave more than 20 dead. It's in these sort of slums that Mechas and his cronies hold sway. It took me over a year to win the confidence of the young killers and be accepted. I will spend 10 days with them, rubbing shoulders with death.
I want an Uzi.
You want what?
Machine gun.
What for?
So we can kill 20, 30 people at once.
Mechas and his friend Fanya, aged 15, had a gang of criminals constantly being hunted by the police. His mother disowned him the day she discovered he'd become a hitman. He and his friends lived empty, violent lives. Where are you going?
To the park with our friends.
What for?
To talk about what to do today.
Colombian law prohibits prison sentences for minors, so drug traffickers use the kids to eliminate their rivals. For a few thousand pesos, they'll do just about anything. Why do you make the sign of the cross?
To thank God for being alive one more day.
So you believe in God?
Yeah, sure.
Do you go to Mass?
No, otherwise I'd melt like a candle.
Why?
Because I'm a great sinner.
Great sinners or suffering greatly. They've grown up the hard way, amid the violence of the law of the concrete jungle. And you, how old are you?
15.
What do you do?
I hang about in the street and steal.
You steal?
Me, I hang around, I rob.
Do you kill as well?
Yeah,
At what age did you start?
from the age of 13.
Have you killed many people?
Quite a few times. For those who pay me.
How much do they pay you?
Whatever they want. Sometimes 1 million pesos or more.
Would you kill for less?
Well, yeah.
Doesn't it get you into trouble?
No.
But why do you kill?
I need to, my friend.
Have you ever tried to find work?
It's not easy to find one these days.
So you've killed more than once. His name is El Flaco, and he's readying the weapon he plans to use for that day's contract killing. The target is a man, but he won't say how or why he has to be killed. Part of my investigation is to understand why these teenagers have turned to serious crime. I go to see Fanya at his friend's house, where he's staying. What made you start killing?
Revenge.
Why?
They killed a young cousin I really loved.
And then?
After that, I wanted to avenge his death and wanted to kill him.
But you were just 13.
Yes.
Was it easy for you to kill for the first time?
I was scared, but I was so angry that when I saw him, I killed him with one shot. It was revenge. That's all.
And you still have the weapon?
Yeah.
So tell me, how does all of this work?
Well, we have our bosses and they tell us who they want killed. We do it and they pay us. We do what they say and we're paid straight afterwards.
And who are the bosses?
It's people that know some friends of ours who tells us what the bosses want. But we never see them ourselves.
The gang hangs around in the neighborhood or in nearby areas all day, street kids waiting for their next contract to drop from the skies.
I'll show you something.
Killing is how the kids survive and to clothe themselves more or less fashionably, whether out of fun, as a challenge, unconsciously, or perhaps because he now trusts me. This boy wants to show me where he hides his revolver at the entrance to a restaurant.
This is our secret stash, in case the cops appear. This way, they'll never take them from us.
So is this where you always hide your gun?
Yes, most of the time. I only take it for work.
Later that day, I have been given permission for an interview in the top security wing of a Bogota prison. Never before has prisoner John Jairo Vasquez Velasquez been interviewed. Velasquez was found guilty on 72 counts and is serving 11 years. He worked for drug lord Pablo Escobar, who nicknamed him Popeye.
Hola, buenos días. Sí, buenos días.
His job was to hire hitmen for Escobar, who himself was shot dead in 1993. About 3,000 hired gunmen protected Pablo Escobar. And what were they each paid? They weren't paid a salary, but for each hit they carried out. How old were the killers? Oh, between 10 and 50 years old. How old were you when you started? I began when I was 18. How did you start? It was quite normal in Colombia. We live in a culture of violence. You're from Medellín? Yeah. What was your first crime like? It was a contract murder. No, it was professional. So you were paid to kill? Oh, sure, yeah, because in Medellín it's a job, even if we had to kill children. It was all part of the war. In a working-class neighborhood in the hills of Medellín, this man is a guide and a guardian. On the walls, the slogans, "Do not kill, do not shoot." Don Ivan is the custodian of a shrine that Pablo Escobar had built here, and also keeps alive the memory of the drug lord. Yeah, this is a monument, as you can see, to the little Jesus. Pablo Escobar himself had it built for us. Each year we maintain it, we take care of it. We also made a record of Pablo Escobar, and most residents in this district have kept this recording on tape. It's a memory that makes us very sad, because we will never forget all that Pablo Escobar did for Medellín. This quiet neighborhood of Medellín is named after Pablo Escobar. The people here aren't ashamed. Ivan Hernandez received the keys to his house from Escobar himself. While he was selling death powder to the world, Escobar was doing social work in Medellín. He built 280 houses for the poor and is still venerated years after his death. You know, most people in this neighborhood are very grateful because he was a very humane person. He looked after the poor. He loved children. And in this neighborhood, when he was alive, he distributed between 1,000 and 1,500 presents for the kids. He also sent food for the holiday season, and even a pig for Christmas Eve. Most residents of this neighborhood have a photo of Pablo Escobar at home. We visit the cemetery to pray for him. We always have him in our thoughts. The people of this subdivision would rather not know how Escobar made his money or achieved such power.
Here's his photo.
So what do you do with the picture?
I keep them like family photos.
Well, what's that on the back of the photo?
A prayer, he used to say.
So you keep that with you?
Yes, of course, always.
Following in the footsteps of Popeye, Mechas and Fania are preparing to deal with the devil, El Diablo, the teenager in the white cap, who's also their paymaster.
Look, I'll give you the gun, but you have to work quickly. Do the job, I'll wait for your call. Make it nighttime when nobody's around.
Do we really need to kill him?
No.
All right.
Take no unnecessary risks or chances. I'll keep an eye on you.
Who is the devil?
Him, our friend.
Oh, you're the devil. Now, why do they call you that?
I don't know, my friend. They say it's because I'm ugly, but I don't know, really.
What are you going to do now, Mechas?
go stealing in a pool hall.
How?
It's to hold up one guy over there.
It's in this neighborhood?
Over there. In the next neighborhood.
It's not good to steal here. The locals wouldn't like that. We prefer to help people here.
Fact or fiction, a simple show for the camera. I'll never know. Mechas and his friends assure me they are planning to use a knife for the killing. What are you going to do with that?
Behead the girl. Look, like that.
As they wait for orders, they play around with the supposed murder weapon like kids. The clothes, the display of bravado, and girls. Like all teenagers, Mechas and his friends hang around outside a school, waiting for their girlfriends. To the boys, school is a distant memory. Life has since led them elsewhere.
I really like her a lot.
What do you like about her?
Her shape.
And you? Do you like him?
More or less.
More or less.
Yes,
What do you like about him?
everything.
She's my girlfriend. He's my best friend.
It's not true, it's not true. He's a bit twisted,
How?
playing a double game. He'd kill me.
He'd kill you?
Yeah, because he didn't like me anymore.
Mechas has never talked about his life to anyone. Do you know what Mechas does?
He hangs about, doing nothing.
He used to do the dishes in a restaurant.
Oh yes, and after he swept the streets. And now he lives in the street, goofing off.
But as the mood gradually changes and his nightmares catch up with him, Mechas asks me to follow him.
Come on, let's go to the cemetery.
Which cemetery?
In the Americas neighborhood, where my little brothers are.
He takes me to another cemetery. Like his mother, he misses his brothers. It's been 2 years since they were murdered. To overcome his terrible loneliness and the sorrow that dwells in his heart, he visits them often. It's in moments such as these that Mechas cracks. Why were they killed?
Revenge, I think.
What had they done?
My brother was very naughty.
What did he do?
He killed many people.
What about your other brother?
He was a student.
Aren't you scared of ending up like them?
If I die, I'll be with them. For now, they take care of me and protect me.
How old were they?
24 and 17.
And how old were you when they were killed?
I was 15.
Were you there when they were murdered?
I was at the grocery store, but they were killed inside the house,
Well, where you live?
where I lived. He's the one who looked after me. Don't ever leave me. care of me. I liked him very much.
I love you. Take care of me. Signed, Oscar. Oscar is the name he was given by his mother when he was christened. Mechas is his street name. His life is dominated by death, the death of his family. All day long he wanders the streets of Medellín, waiting for contracts, orders to kill anyone at any time, and without knowing why. Mechas risks his life every day. He might in turn be the victim of another killer, or, less seriously, face arrest.
How many times have you been arrested?
I've been arrested twice.
And why were you released?
Because I'm a minor. That's the advantage. That's why it's better to be a minor. The first time I was arrested because I tried to buy drugs for a friend in prison. I hid it in some food. But I was unlucky and was arrested. I was beaten and kept inside for 1 day. It's been 2 years I've been struggling on my own. That's why I need someone to help me out. That's what I asked my mother, to guide me towards someone who can help change my life. I really want to change my life.
To change. For a few hours the dream comes true as Mechas and Fania briefly become like any other kids, passing time, doing nothing much, the anonymous among the anonymous. They do some window shopping in downtown Medellín. They have some money to spend from a robbery the previous day. Like all teenagers, they want to have fun.
What are you looking for, Mechas?
The CD of my favorite song. The disc I like most. They sell it here. In downtown Medellín.
In this area of temptations, the kids from the slums of Medellín will spend the wages of murder to impress their friends and their girlfriends. Clothes, music, everything teenagers crave, even those whose innocence has been shattered so early in life.
Yeah, 5,000 pesos.
Let me have it for 4,000, and I'll take it right away.
Yeah, okay then.
Yolanda is a good woman who lives in the neighborhood. Occasionally she agrees to put up Mechas and his companions. It's in her home they often plan their mischief. Yolanda is aware of everything, but pretends to know nothing.
Sometimes he asks me to stay and then he sleeps here. Otherwise, I don't know where he sleeps. But I've seen him on the street on my way to work. A few days ago, I saw him in the street while I was waiting for my bus. It was 5 o'clock in the morning.
Romantic songs and rap, the favorite music among Colombian teenagers. The distraction is usually short-lived when there's crime to commit.
I have to go get changed.
Why, what's up?
Murder a girl.
Today?
Yes.
What time?
At 6 o'clock.
Who are you going to do it with?
With Jason.
You're going now?
Today?
Yeah, we'll bring the head of the girl back.
No, for pity's sake.
A final burst of rap, and off they go with no qualms.
I'm going to change to look a bit more thuggish. We have to cut off her head.
And what will you do with her head?
We'll send it to the person who hired us.
You'll send the head?
Yeah, sure.
Won't you be put off?
Why? Ever since they killed my cousin, I'm afraid of nothing and have no mercy for anyone.
Before carrying out the terrible contract, a gruesome killing the horror and the gravity of which he seems unaware, Fanya visits his aunt to pick up his freshly pressed clothes. Are you late?
Yeah, of course. Why are you crying? There's nothing wrong. I'm just changing. Stop whining.
The camera upsets his aunt. She knows what Fanya is going to do and she feels embarrassed. Fanya pretends not to be affected by what he has to do, but the care he takes in preparing and the way he takes his time betrays his apprehension. Outside, Mechas is becoming impatient.
See you later.
Death seems to follow them everywhere. They seemed possessed by it. It's an unwholesome attitude to death that seems to envelop them and turn against them. Overtaken by the fear and anxiety of worthlessness, one of their friends committed suicide in front of them. He was barely 17 years old.
This is where our friend died with the gun that we'd bought. The next day he killed himself with it. He sat there, we were in the stands.
What was his name?
His name was John. He sat here.
Right in front of you?
Yeah. The blood was everywhere, and there's still some here. We were all here, and we called out his name, and then took him out.
Was he also a hired killer?
Yes. He killed and stole like us.
He died the way he wanted.
He said that nobody would kill him. He would do it to himself, and he did.
We miss him a lot. Sometimes you pray we're not necessarily devils, you know?
Now, how do you pray?
I have a special prayer. I use it all the time.
So what do you ask God?
To forgive me for what I am. I asked him to help protect me. He has my life in his hands. It's up to him what he does with it.
Accomplices and companions in misfortune, Fanya and Mechas, use the same words to greet their dead friend.
We love you. Your friends will never forget you.
The next day they return to Yolanda's. Mechas and Fanya amuse themselves like children their age, with toy guns.
This is the t-shirt that my girlfriend gave me.
Like teens going to college, they make sure they look good, but they aren't heading for school. Their rendezvous is with the devil, El Diablo. He has the latest instructions for them for a murder that's been paid for in advance.
You arrive at the girl's house in a taxi with a gun. On the way back, you get on the motorbike as if nothing's wrong.
Oh, what are you planning?
A murder that they've taken too long to execute.
Who is it?
A girl. If they don't kill her, they're the ones who'll be killed. They know that very well. Him, and him.
Why?
Because they promised to kill her, and the longer they delay, the more likely they'll be killed.
The small gang of hired killers meets in a corner of the park. They've prepared the hit carefully and will spring into action in the next few minutes.
What are the flowers for?
They'll take them to the girl who will be killed. It's a way to get close to her.
Yeah, but how? Can you explain it to me?
They'll deliver the bouquet as if it was for her, and when she opens the door,
The plan gets underway in the evening. Fania is nervous as he looks for a taxi, having hidden his gun.
go away. I'm going.
Are you armed?
No. Leave me, go away.
The bouquet is a decoy, and that's all he will say about the murder plan. Mechas follows on a motorcycle to pick him up after the shooting.
Does the Virgin Mary protect you?
Of course, from all evil and danger.
So you believe in God?
Of course. We must believe in God, who gives us this life, this tragic life we lead.
The sicarios have an unshakable belief that the Virgin Mary will protect them no matter whether they do good or evil.
The boys must come back safe and sound. Nothing must happen to them. I want them intact, just like when I sent them.
But what weapon do they have?
A 38 Scorpion. A small revolver, perfect for this sort of work.
Fania and Mechas have been gone for more than an hour. It's a long wait, and the tension mounts.
Maybe they were caught. There's always more work, and more money. Lots more money. Much more money.
Fania finally returns. There are 2 bullets left in the revolver. But I'll never find out whether he really carried out the hit or not. No family, no school, no future. Adults rarely enter the world of these killer children.
Now, the boy we're going to see, he produces good work. He lives up there in a neighborhood that's violent and dangerous.
William Zapata is a teacher in Medellín. His goal is to rescue kids that are on the brink, to get them out of the deadly situation in which they are trapped. He takes me to see Andres, now aged 24, a man William saved when he was a youngster and who now lives with his parents. He too was once a sicario, a hired gun. Andres started killing at the age of 15. In his room, he's kept some of the souvenirs from his first life.
What are your first memories?
Of my cousin. He was killed because he defended a girl on a bus. When he got off, a guy stabbed him in the heart.
Andres now leads a normal life in a normal family, with younger brothers, his mother and father. Without the perseverance and persuasiveness of William, the teacher, Andres would not be where he is today, and would possibly not be there at all, to understand why he became a sicario.
It's the power of money, let's put it that way. When they see a young sicario, the girls immediately think of money. When they kill someone, it's for the money. And it's suddenly a process of consumerism, really. They have a passion for clothes here in Medellín. The killers have a very trendy, expensive clothes, the latest shorts and jeans. They want to seduce by their appearance.
I remember the story of another cousin of mine who was killed there in the neighborhood. We were sat drinking, me, a friend who's also dead, him and two other of his friends. Suddenly he said, "Oh, look at this guy." And he grabbed him by the shirt, like that, and he said, "So when I turn around and you're still sitting there, I'll kill you." He let go of his shirt, he did that, and he killed him. His brain splattered all over me.
Why did it seem normal to you?
To see him killed was nothing unusual. For sicario, it's normal.
So how are you able to change, in fact?
Thanks to a girlfriend. I wanted a family with her. We have many dreams in life, but to me there's a major one, and that's the main thing for me. So what should I do? Change and stop doing stupid things to become a new man to reach my dream, and I'm on the way.
For Andres, a terrible chapter is closed. His life as a sicario is now in the past. Marlon says another sicario in the same neighborhood murdered El Diablo 2 weeks after this report was filmed. Esteban says Fania left after receiving threats and now works in a shoe store. And Oscar says Mechas has also left the area, but continues in his dead-end job with a new partner. The story of these young hired killers was shown on French public television. Many viewers were shocked, others moved, and a great many comments flooded in by email. In the meantime, in his neighborhood of Medellín, Mechas was feeling increasingly threatened, and to save his life, he'd gone into hiding. One email message in particular struck me. It was from a 20-year-old woman in Paris called Marie. Above all else, she was determined to find Mechas and remains deeply moved by the story of the 17-year-old boy. Small yet strong, a child and an adult, naive and stubborn. A victim and an aggressor, and seemingly beyond anyone's help. The boy's contradictions attracted Marie. For a young European, the image was possibly very seductive. She was immediately struck by the boy and his tragic and terrible story. She's unemployed and lives in a Parisian apartment. She was stunned by the video that she recorded and now watches almost non-stop. Her head spinning with ideas. Marie recently finished her studies and is at a loose end. One more reason she's interested in Mechas is her interest in humanitarian work. Marie quickly made up her mind to do something to help him.
J'aimerais bien le faire venir en France pour qu'il ait une nouvelle vie, pour qu'il
I'd love for him to come to France so he can have a new life, or at least a normal life like everyone else his age should have. You know, in safety. Also, to earn an honest living, have a job with a proper salary and pay slips.
Mais en ayant toute une fiche de paye et pas en étant toujours baigné dans la violence et dans les trafics.
And no longer involved in violence and trafficking. He risks his life every time he accepts a new contract. Well, it is a gamble, and there are risks afterwards, we'll see. I don't really know him, but after looking at these pictures, I think to myself, oh yes, he can still be saved, and I'm willing to take the risk to try and help him.
What was at first a vague idea gradually turns into an obsession. How to get him to France quickly takes shape. She wants to extract him from the awful streets of Medellín, to get him out of there, to literally uproot him from his country. But how to do it? Marie doesn't seem to understand the nature of the challenge she's setting herself. The latest news about Mechas since he left Medellín so long ago is that he's joined an armed group in the mountain jungles. Paramilitaries financed by the drug trade who recruit children and turn them into soldiers. But recently he's returned to Medellín with a woman who has become his lover and surrogate mother. A temporary shelter maybe, a dependency that is unlikely to last long.
How did you meet Mechas?
Here at home.
How?
He came here once with his friends. That's how I met him.
When was that?
3 years.
What was Mechas doing 3 years ago?
What were you doing?
Go on, keep talking.
What do you expect from Mechas?
A lot, because even though he's young, he's responsible and handsome. He has a good heart, but he needs help and support. But Oscar's very good.
You know there's someone in France who will help him.
I don't know.
What do you think about the fact that there's a young girl in France that wants to help him?
What do you mean?
Yes, there's a young girl who wants to help Mechas change his life.
You mean find someone over there? Nothing I can do. Forget him.
Why would you want me to leave?
Maybe he'll succeed over there and make some money.
She's already saved my life.
Do you think he risks being killed?
Last time they were going to kill him, but I intervened.
Oh, what happened?
We were walking in the park when 2 youngsters approached him, and I shoved them away and protected him with my body. I asked them not to kill him and tried my best to take away the gun.
They were armed?
Yes, both of them. No, just one of them. The other almost would have killed him. In the end, it was thanks to me they left. Mechas was so upset he started crying.
His comrade in arms comes to visit.
Hey.
Hi. What's up?
It's his great buddy. They're always together. Almost like his second wife. Sometimes he leaves with him.
So what else do you do?
Not much. Hang around in the streets. But I'll start working. I've got plenty of projects, me.
16 months ago, I was in another town, under arms of a paramilitary group. But that was bad too. There were many dead. A lot of bad stuff, and we had to kill, like the guerrilla did. It was no good, and I wouldn't recommend it to anyone.
Did they pay you?
Yes, of course. If they didn't pay, I wouldn't have gone.
How much did they pay?
360,000 pesos a month. I've some photos of when I was with the paramilitary. Wait, I'll show them to you.
Souvenirs stained with blood and pain of his last adventure in the jungle. To stay alive, he hunted guerrillas and displaced farmers.
The guerrillas killed a lot of people. There were massacres.
Didn't the paramilitaries also kill?
Yes, but only those who supported the guerrillas.
And you saw that yourself then?
Yes, over there everyone has to go through it. And if they didn't cooperate, we'd cut their heads off. A machete blow to the foot there, the other hand, the head, and swoosh.
Killing, doing bad things. And if you weren't careful, then we'd be killed. We'd lose our lives. You had to fight the guerrilla. Fight them all the time.
Love and death. Luz, I love you, written with bullets from his machine gun. Photos lost in the recesses of fragile memories, sometimes best left forgotten.
Did you feel safe amongst the paramilitaries?
Yes, I felt protected from my enemies in town. But down there, my foe were the guerrilla. I had a rifle to shoot back with at least. But here I have nothing to defend myself with. There were a lot of us, about 500 or 600. I wasn't on my own.
Mechas risks his life by being here, and reprisals could lie around every corner. There is hope in the shape of a promise. Its name is Marie, and is in France. In the French capital, Marie, still unemployed, has plenty of time to dedicate to her pet project, Mechas. It's been a frustrating day. She's not only been unable to track down useful contacts that might help, but also failed to raise money for the boy to get a passport. She's making phone calls everywhere to try and find a solution.
Okay, thanks very much. Bye. I can't do it. They're not helping me. They won't tell me anything else. All in all, they aren't much help. They either direct me to another group, or they tell me they can't do anything and it's beyond their competence.
Marie has methodically looked throughout Paris for help, but all to no avail. Finally, she's able to set up an important meeting with a Protestant pastor who is familiar with Colombia, as well as being a Spanish speaker. Marie would like to speak to Mechas on the phone. She's an agnostic and skeptical about religion, but nevertheless turns to this church to help change Mechas' destiny. The meeting will reassure her. Marie has taken a key step forward. She's now got the phone number where she might find young Mechas in Medellín. Mark, the pastor, wants to speak with him first.
Hello?
How's it going?
Good, thank God.
Good. I'm with Marie. She sends her hellos. Say hello. How are you?
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, hi there, how are you?
Hello, you alright?
Delighted. I'll let you speak to the minister because I don't speak Spanish that well, and it's very difficult for me to understand you.
It's easy.
I'll pass him on, okay?
So, you agreed to change countries and completely change your lifestyle and surroundings.
Well, I've made up my mind. It's my ambition to change.
Well, how do you feel about it then? Not everyone gets this opportunity, you know that, don't you?
Of course.
And that's how you feel about it, really, deep down.
That's the idea, to change my life. I'll behave myself.
You've had to sort out your life on your own, and you've made some mistakes, but now God can help rebuild your life and situation.
I think God has a plan for all of us, and that's all.
May the Lord bless you.
Listen.
We'll be cut off. God bless.
Good, we've made initial contact, so I'm very pleased. I was thinking that with the little money I have, and, well, because I'm young and because I'm not part of a network, I thought I might be able to do something, however small. I want to do it, and I won't give up, that's for sure. I'll see it through from A to Z.
Marie is delighted and determined. Their first contact has been made, and now she wants things to move faster and further. The lives of these two young people could be about to change dramatically. In Medellín, fate will soon decide. Mechas is equally impatient.
I just want to know he'll be fine over there, that's all.
I have to do something. I want to change my life. I don't want to have anything more to do with guns or be in the street anymore. Otherwise they'll get me and I'll end up like Fania and Diablo. I want to live. It's better than dying.
While all may be sweetness and light with Luz, the atmosphere in Medellín is far nastier. The wave of violence continues to escalate almost daily, and time is running out for Mechas. He risks being murdered if caught in the open, even in his own neighborhood. As the days pass in Paris, Marie is doing her best to get matters organized as quickly as possible. In the post office this afternoon, she sends Mechas the key to open the door to his freedom from the horrors in Colombia.
Thanks a lot. Bye, madam.
So it's off then.
That's it. Everything will work out now. The teacher will get his money, they'll be able to start applying for a passport and an ID card. The process has begun. It's all happening now.
Even if Marie is determined that Mechas should leave the violence behind him and come to France, her rational side makes her seek out professional advice. She's keen to consult a specialist in criminal affairs, Michel Agrappa, who's expecting her with precise punctuality.
Hello, madame.
Come in.
Marie shows her the documentary report, which she now knows by heart. She's seen something in Mechas' eyes, which convinced her she should try and get him to France.
Il avait dit que personne ne le tuerait, qu'il le ferait lui-même et puis il s'est donné la mort. Il nous manque beaucoup.
To think he's almost the same age as me, and to see the kind of life he has and the life I have.
It's not fair, and you had to fix this situation?
Maybe not fix it, but maybe balance it somehow.
Have you already started something, or is it only a virtual project for now?
No, we've started lots of things. Otherwise, he might suffer the same fate as his friends, like getting killed as scores are settled. Besides, it's getting urgent now, and as a result, I've already sent off the money so he can get an ID card and a passport.
For my part, I'm not too optimistic. Unfortunately, a fairly negative diagnosis.
You're really negative, but do you think there's a glimmer of hope?
I have a small hope. On the other hand, right now, I'm also worried about you. So protect yourself.
But don't you think people can change?
A few days later, Mechas is on familiar territory, the streets of downtown Medellín, where he's wandered so often in the past. This time, he has a purpose. Along with his friend Yedison, he hopes to take the first steps to freedom. New photos for identity papers and a passport.
Hello, it's for an ID photo.
Go ahead.
A new look for a new life, but will his new image also help change reality?
Move just a bit there. That's good. That's a good one.
I don't want the earring in the photo.
Now, more than ever, the way he looks may be decisive. William, the sociologist, has always been close at hand. He's a man who is respected and well worth being part of the project.
Mechas, we're going to start applying for a passport with the money that Marie has sent us from France. The idea is that you can take advantage of all that, and we're going to do everything so that you can travel.
Yes, I'm really pleased and I have to get out of this. Thanks very much.
Everything seems to be working out. Matters are taking shape, moving along steadily and smoothly. William takes the young man under his wing, as if he were his own flesh and blood. Here, a passport can be obtained in less than 24 hours.
"101st Street, number 7211. Only hope we can get a visa. Let's hope the embassy says yes, and then we're set. Then I can finally start a new life.
In Medellín, the days pass in a terrible mixture of fear and anguish for Mechas. His impatience grows steadily. At least William's support in the process provides some comfort, and there's the feeling that Marie will become more than just a temporary acquaintance. Mechas remains more or less on course and is due to meet up with William again.
Hello, William.
Sit down, please. Listen, I've spoken to her just today. We spoke on the phone and by email. She really wants to help you get over there, even though she doesn't have a lot of money. And we must be absolutely certain that you've really made up your mind to really change.
It's a gift from God, and a great deal of help from Marie, whom I spoke to on the phone. I'm very happy and really grateful. I'm really going to do the best I can.
You'll be able to travel and sort yourself out. I think it's the right time for you to seriously think about what you want to do, and then say goodbye to all your buddies. So Mechas, make the most of it. There's nothing more spontaneous in Colombia than expressing one's joy through dance. Mechas lets the rhythm take over. The salsa music is an escape. It might soon be time to say goodbye and finally put an end to a miserable and panic-ridden past. He wants to visit his neighborhood friends. He wants to let them know he might be leaving, and he's made up his mind to change his life. It's all good news.
Hey, you okay? Everything all right?
All these youngsters have blood on their hands and won't hesitate to kill again for a few thousand pesos. Yet to them, it's nothing unusual or extraordinary.
I'm starting a new life, guys. I'm having nothing more to do with guns.
Death and vengeance feature large in each of their stories.
So you have a lot of enemies?
Well, since they killed my brother, everything has gone wrong.
How long ago was your brother killed?
It's been 8 months. It was Father's Day.
How did it happen?
We were kicking a ball around outside. They surprised us and killed him. But I'll get my revenge.
Aren't you scared they might do the same thing to you?
No, I'm resigned to it.
Resigned to what exactly?
Well, if they kill me, I'll go where he went. I don't care.
He was a friend who was in the jungle with me. Him over there, I also met down there. They're real bad boys.
Look, these shoes used to belong to the guy I killed.
They killed Mechas' entire family, the bastards. That's why we're like this today. We aren't scared of anyone, right, guys? Say it, Mechas.
But they'll kill you. That's why I'm trying to get away from all this. I've got a chance, and I want to take it, to get away.
What if you hadn't got this opportunity, Mechas?
What might I have done differently? Continue to do the same thing, because here, even if you're not directly involved, here in Colombia, a hired killer is a proper job. In Medellín, it's normal. In Medellín, it's like a sport. I'd be doing the same thing, but thank God I've been lucky. I hope for my friends' sakes they get rid of their demons, because they're possessed too.
They kill to survive and survive to kill. They are at least still young. Some might have a future, but for the majority an early and anonymous grave beckons.
I support him completely because here it's an open warfare. So good luck to him if he can leave.
So what do you think about Mechas leaving for another country?
I wish him luck, and I think it's the best thing. We'd all like to have the same chance, but if he's the one, well, I hope he makes the most of it and gets away from this life, my friend. God has shone his light on you.
And if he stayed in Colombia, would his life be in danger?
It's a no-brainer. It's obvious here in Colombia he'd be dead.
It's like leaving a carnal body towards a spiritual life, or like seeing death descending on my buddies. My new life will take me to another country, where I'll have no enemies and where I can finally study, work, think about other things in a different atmosphere. No more bad guys. Everything will be different. I'm very happy.
He'll leave all the violence in Medellín and Colombia behind. It's good to discover a new country.
How long have you been living this sort of life?
2.5 years already.
And how did you get started?
Because they killed my 3 young brothers.
These are the Badlands, home to these boys turned demons led on by death, veterans who know how to shoot, cause bloodshed, part-time criminals and bandits with sick hearts who are quick to open fire, expert gunmen from a very young age. But I know if they could change, they would.
I told the guys, hey, I'm leaving for France, and they said, that's great.
For Luz, who has plenty of mixed feelings about Mechas' probable departure, these are precious moments. She doesn't want to think about the final stages of the boy's plan. But such is the level of threats, it's obvious he has to leave or be killed. The image of the Virgin is everywhere in town, and Mechas considers this an omen, an important symbol.
Money doesn't buy love. You haven't got me anymore.
So is your mother really in love with Mechas?
Yeah, really.
Luz feels rejected as Mechas discreetly awaits the news on which he's pinned so much hope.
I know a man doesn't belong to us, but anything can happen.
On a trip down memory lane, Mechas and Luz's daughter head for the cemetery to lay another flower on another grave. Fania, his best friend, is buried here. He was shot dead a few months earlier, a victim of this dangerous adolescent game. To Mechas, it's death that drives life, and solitude, ever since he's been alone in the world.
I'm really sorry.
But those flowers are from another grave.
That's okay. Anything is fine to decorate his grave. He's just lending them to us. He has to help me and look after me, and always support me, so that nothing bad ever happens to me. I ask this of you with all my heart. I'm renouncing weapons and bad things, but also this country, which is beautiful with its pretty women, its climate, everything in fact apart from the violence which ruins everything. So to change I must leave it, like dumping the trash, never seeing it again. I'm giving up guns, and the good Lord will help me.
The dead lie behind him, his eye now in the future. Mechas shows the documentary on his life to his friends. For now, there are no new developments, and his eventual journey remains a utopia. His friends give their full attention to the film. None make the slightest comment, possibly preferring to keep what thoughts they may have to themselves. If such a new life were possible, there would surely be fewer tombs and graves. Behind him, a nightmare of a childhood, a human tragedy. This life might disappear forever, once and for all, for Mechas. His loneliness shadows him in the streets. Worried about the future, he wants to believe in the unbelievable, the journey to France.
The people who killed my brothers and my family are also out to get me, and that's why I'm happy to accept Marie's invitation. She's obviously a girl, but has a great heart. I'm very keen to go to France to avoid the dangers, hear it and make sure nothing happens to me. I want to live and have a family. I thank God for this opportunity and want to thank Marie with all my heart.
Ever since I got to know Mechas, I've been looking for the right words to describe his life. Finally, I found them in his own simple yet clear words. I want to live. And yet, as he waits impatiently, war, death and violence also follow their course until one morning, a distressed Luz receives some bad news.
I was at work when they rang to tell me he'd been hurt and that something had happened.
But what did happen to him?
He was stabbed 3 times.
An average of 80 victims a day are treated in this downtown hospital. 90% of them are victims of violence. The patient is quickly identified as Oscar Dario Ruiz, in other words, Mechas.
He's 19 years old and was admitted 2 days ago in the afternoon with stab wounds in the thorax and arms.
Once again, it seems to be a matter of life or death. Is everything about to collapse now? Why couldn't he have stayed off the streets? And is death really so frightening?
So did you ever find out what happened exactly?
It's what I told you. He was wounded, but I don't know any more than that. We'll need to wait to get the real story.
But fear is what I feel too. And fate seems destined to protect this boy who has a stubborn will to resist. But you can never turn your back on death. I'll never find out exactly what awful thing may have happened here. But for now, though, it's time for a final goodbye to his mother.
I just can't believe it. May God bless me. God does exist. He's wonderful, and he's the boss.
Remaining true to his mother's memory is his life's one and only point of reference. It's where it all began, the start of his misery, and now possibly the start of another life.
Mama. Here's your crazy boy. Help me, carry me. Don't let me fall and make sure I find what I seek.
Can a young man's dreams have the strength to become reality? Willpower will certainly help decide his fate.
It'll be 5 years on December the 30th. 5 years since she died. I spent a long time without her.
And how would you say your life has changed?
Everything has changed. My way of thinking, of being, and it'll keep changing. Thanks to God. I'm still very young. I'm just 20. I'm still a kid with a future in front of me.
The future and life, his greatest hopes. The youngster should soon be on the plane. He has been given his French visa. Prospects seem that much closer. But everything so far, surely now, he'll jump the final hurdles.
What are you taking to France then?
Not much in these. You see, I don't have many clothes. Just the basics.
He's taking motivation. Only that. You must really want it. Have faith, and you'll get through this. I think it's a way to show people and the world that people can change and that Mechas has the ability to succeed.
The Medellín terminus. This is where the buses leave for the 10-hour ride to the capital. It's a significant day for Mechas. Accompanied by William, he's finally on his way to Bogotá, from where he'll take the plane for Europe. Good luck, huh? The farewells have been made, and it's also goodbye forever to the dismal past. There's nothing in the rear-view mirror. The journey has begun, and it's full steam ahead with no turning back. Leaving liberates him and eases his sorrow. What does the future hold in store? Will it finally put an end to the miserable cycle of violence? It's impossible to say whether he'll ever return. A page in his life is turning, and an uncertain future lies ahead. For the first time in his life, he's set foot inside an airport. He's ready to leave and head into a new adventure. It's a dream he never dared have in his life as an orphan lost in the bowels of Medellín.
God is making my dream come true. I'm nervous. I've never been in a plane before. My dream's coming true.
It's like a race with destiny. On the other side of the world, it's nighttime in December, winter at a Paris airport. Marie is there with her hopes and desires. She's waiting for him, barely breathing from anticipation. Marie and Mechas finally meet. Two obsessions, like angels and demons. Everything becomes blurred, another world, another time. A new story, two cultures and two unfamiliar youngsters.
Marie, is this what you hoped for then?
Of course, ever since we started this project. And now it's coming true. I can't believe it.
You're well prepared, Marie.
Well, yes, I knew he didn't have a coat, and I had an extra one, a ski jacket.
I'm really grateful for the great gift. It's a nice gesture. I don't know how to repay her. It's incredible, unbelievable.
They discover each other. Marie wants to show him Paris by night, the Eiffel Tower. She takes him to Place Concorde and the Champs-Élysées, icons of the great city.
After all that's happened, you know life can be a real surprise, can't it?
Sorry?
Life's a surprise. It changed from one moment to the next.
Oh, yes.
There are bad times and good times. And these are the good times. With you.
It's almost like a fairy tale. Walking without fear in the streets is a new experience. A new life in a new world is about to begin. A peace he's never known before, with no hint of danger.
I seem to have adapted to it all ever since I was on the plane.
So you think you'll be all right then?
Sure. I know I will with the help of the Almighty.
During the first few days in Paris, it seems the relationship between Marie and Mechas is genuine. Ties of affection and love. Mechas is trying out something completely new. It's Sunday, and even if Marie isn't a believer, she takes Mechas to see Marc, who's waiting for them and seems to have found a room for Mechas in a shelter.
Hello, and listen, thanks for everything you've done so far. I think we're making progress here, and you have a home to go to now.
Thank God.
I think that since he's a believer, when he'll be in a home where God is present, it will help him. He'll hear him, and that will help, of course.
As on every Sunday, the pastor celebrates Mass in his church. This is all equally new to Mechas. His religious experience was based on the fervent worship of the Virgin Mary and a rather aloof God.
Je veux me tenir droit devant toi, toujours en te bénissant, Seigneur, pour tout ce que tu as fait dans ma vie.
So here are the contact details to the house where Mechas will be going. And maybe you can give him a phone card as well.
After a few weeks, Marie no longer wants him at home with her. But life carries on, and in Paris it's winter and still cold. Tonight they're off to amuse themselves at a skating rink. Mechas' willingness to adapt and change means he has an astonishing capacity to learn how to live in France. He knows he'll have to leave her. Mechas gets his stuff together to leave for the south of France. He feels she wants to be rid of him.
I need to be on my best behavior. And to think there were those who thought I was on the road to perdition and I had no way out. There'll be many to see the change and they'll be surprised. They would never think that it was possible that Mechas could change.
Marie has realized she's gone too far.
I'll miss him. I'll miss his company. But I'm consoled by knowing that where he's going is for his own good. And we're lucky to have found an association that will eventually provide everything he needs. Work and language. And he also needs to learn to respect authority and rules.
Marie is incredible. She's a very special person for me. And I really love her.
Stamped envelopes. All he needs to do is put his letter in. He doesn't really know about this sort of thing yet. There, everything has been arranged. I've organized everything. I don't want him to forget anything. And I want to be sure he does well. Like a mother.
Mechas accepts the fact he has to leave, even though Marie has been his anchor. At the Gare de Lyon station, he's due to leave for a shelter in Marseille. It's a tough blow because he'll be left on his own and will have to adapt yet again to his new circumstances. The train is waiting at the platform and Marie has come to bid him farewell.
I'm scared and happy at the same time.
Marie wants to comfort him. A kiss and Mechas is apparently feeling better already.
We'll see each other again.
It's odd to see him leave like this.
A few months later, I'm in Marseille. I find where he stayed. It turns out to be a rehabilitation center for delinquents and dropouts. After just 2 weeks in the program, Oscar started coming into the shop and cleaning the furniture, restoring the furniture too, tidying up the clothes to be sold. And then he left. I suppose he was here for a few months, but because of his age, he found it difficult to accept the rules that we have here in the shelter. But you can't say he was a bad boy, not at all. In fact, he was a good lad. It was simply too much discipline for a kid like Mechas. Later, wandering the streets in France, he had been arrested by the police, freed, and arrested again, not having the necessary papers. Finally, he tracked down Marie in Paris, but the love affair was well and truly over by then.
No, it was too difficult. Their way of thinking wasn't good, and there was too much religion. I didn't like it. The pressure.
Have you got used to life in France?
Yes, it's much calmer. It's better.
He's been on his own for almost a year. The once murderous youngster no longer exists. At 8 in the morning, he's off to work in a Parisian suburb. For someone who did little more than hang around on street corners and for whom getting a job was impossible, he's now working hard. He knows now what it means to make an effort.
It's a chance to live.
And what would life be like if you were still in Colombia?
Probably nothing, because I'd be dead by now.
You really think so?
Yes, of course. Definitely.
And something new has emerged. He's learned to speak French and express himself in other ways too.
Desde París improvisando para todos los colombianos que el mundo lo están andando y que el mundo lo están guerreando. La salté para mis panas que se encuentran hoy aquí, huyéndole a la violencia de allá de nuestro país. Si supieran lo que pasa en la ciudad de Medellín, son los genios que se mueren sin poder descubrir, sin saber que en realidad juntos podemos sonreír. La miseria es de los niños que viven en el conflicto, soportando la miseria, la ignorancia y el bendito. Una vida de pesadillas sin sueños que construir. Se la pegó.
Go on then. Is that how you dance, is it?
I don't talk about my life much. I only talk about things that really happened, things I can see. The lyrics are whatever are going through my head when I'm writing. It would be good to find someone to keep up the music.
It was very easy for him to learn the language. So you think he'll be all right then? Oh yeah, I think so. He's got the means. Man, he's got the will. He really wants to do so. I wish him well anyway. In barely 2 years, Mechas has become used to life in France. He's had his ups and downs, but he perseveres.
Since I arrived, everything's changed. I'm a different person to the one in the film in Colombia. Now everything has changed. My whole life. I've found love here and peace.
He does small jobs here and there, and he's living with a girl from Chile. He's been working hard, determined never to go back to his old ways. It's an important day. He's hoping to get his residency papers that will make him legal.
A candle for hope, to bring luck. That's what we do back home. Tomorrow I have a meeting. It's for political refugees. I'll find out if they'll give me political asylum.
He's preparing the speech he will make in front of the tribunal the next day.
There are moments when I think about all the bad things that I have done. Things that have made other people suffer. But I didn't do them because I wanted to. I did them because they happened to cross my path. Everything came to me. I never went looking for them. Everything came to me. So sometimes I also feel guilty, because I feel sad, and there are people like me who also feel sad. I hope I can forget it all one day, all of it, and that will be the day I have children.
Holiday snapshots with his girlfriend. Is he a changed person, or simply the person that had been hidden behind the violence in Colombia?
It's a dream. A dream. Things I thought would never happen to me. The only thing I imagined was ending up in the cemetery next to my buddies, because we all followed the same path. We were born to die at 20, 25 max. A souvenir of Medellín, the only one I have. Here are my two friends who are dead, the ones you met. You might ask, but they're dead. History is repeating itself. It's a cycle. That's why I always put it next to the Virgin, so they can rest in peace.
Other photos too, this time of a miserable past. The next day will be decisive. He is to appear in front of the panel that will decide whether to grant asylum in France and so finally obtain his papers. His girlfriend's mother has offered to help.
Hello, how are you? Calm? Okay, let's go.
On their way, they leave to meet up with the girlfriend as well. But what could be the strongest and most emotional argument in his favor might also be the most inconvenient. In the first audience with the tribunal, he'd freely admitted to his life as a hired killer in Colombia. Today's session is behind closed doors.
You must understand that it's difficult for me to remember a past that's already dead and was a nightmare. I also want you to know that everything I've ever done in my life was just to survive. When I lost my family, my greatest hope was to have another one. I want to ask forgiveness to all those who I've harmed. I regret everything with all my heart.
His appalling childhood has made an impression on the judge, and a final decision is expected in a few weeks' time.
Satisfait?
Satisfied?
Ça va mieux maintenant.
I feel better now.
Je me suis
I've offloaded all my stress.
de tout mon stress et tout. Maintenant, on va
We just
prendre
need to
la
wait for the answer and see what happens.
He's told his entire story in intimate detail, a full confession.
comment je vais faire
I
ma
have
vie
to find a way to rebuild my life.
dans le système.
How will I enter in the system?
Comment je vais faire pour
How will I
pour
feed my
nourrir mes
children,
enfants,
my wife,
ma femme, qui aime bien
who
manger.
likes to eat?
Non, sérieux.
I'll just have to work.
And there's the possibility to have
Possibilité de
kids.
faire des enfants.
We'll need to look after the kids as well.
Après, il y a les pères qui poussent.
Afterwards, the father can look after them. Me. It will be great for me to look after my kids.
M'occuper de mes fils.
Je vais être obligée de me
I'll
marier
have to
avec
marry
toi.
you.
Pourquoi obliger?
It's not an obligation.
C'est pas une obligation.
Bah si.
C'est
Well,
pour
yeah,
nous,
it is.
Pour notre
oui, mais-
futur.
It's because we love each other, for our future. Anyway, the nightmare's over.
Now he wants to start planning for the future. The suburbs of Paris. George, a retired engineer, has asked Oscar to redecorate his apartment. Oscar, his real name, will seize every opportunity for work, wherever and whenever he can, in an effort to build a better life. Well, first we'll make it all white. There's no need to clean it, but we need to remove all the nails and plaster over where there are cracks.
A lick of paint everywhere. What about the ceiling? That too?
The studio will be ready in about a month, so we'll see then.
I'm off. See you later this week. Bye, George. See you tomorrow. This is my poem. Don't ask my age. I'm as old as everyone. And I've chosen to be older than my age. And my real age is the number of bullets I've fired. I was reborn with each gunshot, and even if my body dies, I'll be as old as the boy who I've liberated.
Work, dreams, poetry and songs about his life with music. Oscar feels truly free and is enjoying life. Another day, another mood. Oscar strolls through Paris. He's become used to being arrested, detained and then released after 24 hours. How will his unique story end? Will the law, his old and bizarre enemy, finally come down on his side? His girlfriend is on the phone.
She wants me to be legal. She wants me to be legal so I can work and all that, and have a normal life like everyone else. But it's not easy, you know.
Oscar has a meeting with his lawyer in central Paris. He'll learn what the court has finally decided. There are two possibilities: to become an immigrant and a normal citizen, or face expulsion from French territory.
Today, you find yourself in what I would describe as a very uncomfortable situation, as your refugee status has not been approved. So, officially, as things stand, you are not legally allowed to remain in France, but at the same time, you cannot return to Colombia. If you plan to marry, you have the possibility to have your situation legalized within 6 months, or at the time of your marriage. Or, as you and your partner are living together, she as your common law wife.
If the police arrest me, can I give them your number?
Of course, keep my card with you. If you have any problems, call me. I'll give you another one.
I feel better now.
Don't lose it. See you soon, sir. Goodbye.
No asylum will be granted, but he won't be expelled either. In other words, a limbo. He can remain outside the law without papers. Something like, okay, stay, but you're on your own. It's winter and Oscar is back at George's suburban apartment. He continues to fight and will not give up. As for Susanna, that's all over now.
How are you?
When I got to Épinay, he'd repainted the entire house. He keeps all his stuff in these cupboards. He sleeps on the couch over there, which we fold out at night. All the painting here, that was Oscar. We had trouble with the roof in the living room, but he managed it. It was tough, the ceiling. It took a while, that ceiling.
Did you work on the music then?
Yes. We'll work on the voice next. There you go, sugar.
So what's it sound like?
I'll let you listen to what I've done. And we'll begin to work on the voice.
Oscar puts everything down in writing.
I've only recently found out about his past. I saw the report recently, in fact. I've known him for 5 years. It's time enough to get to like him. I liked him actually even before I knew all about his background. So I know him for what he is today, really. The Oscar in Colombia was a different person. So I like him a lot.
That story's over. It's dead.
He's got some problems, but I'm trying to help where I can.
George is also a composer and has recently set up a recording studio and prepared the music for Oscar's lyrics. His passion for song gives Mechas the courage to sing about the joys of being alive.
Right, after the introduction of the sax... No. On the song it sounds too contrived.
On y retourne.
Oscar's new life is a sign that maybe he never really was a truly bad boy, simply that violence and life in the streets was all he ever knew.
Protección te llevo en mi corazón, siempre estás en mi oración, recibo tu bendición, recibo tu bendición, amén. Y recibo tu bendición, amén. Recibo tu bendición. Y te dedico esta canción. Y ya pasaron muchos años, muchos meses, muchos días protegiendo yo mi vida y buscamos la salida. Americanos que el mundo no están andando, que el mundo no están guerreando.
The old Mechas is no more. The new Oscar is now dedicated and determined to live.
Gracias, muchas gracias, le doy gracias a la vida, a la Virgen María, gracias a la Madre mía por brindarme protección. Te llevo en mi corazón, siempre estás en mi oración, te pido la bendición, amén, ya. Si desde el día que te fuiste ya han pasado muchos años, muchos meses, muchos días, protegiendo yo mi vida y buscando una salida. Y fue a la Virgen María quien yo siempre le pedía que el cambio extremo de vida, la fe yo nunca la pierdo, soy creyente y no lo niego. Y aquí queda comprobado que mi milagro se ha cumplido, he sido yo el elegido. De Colombia hasta Francia, es muy grande la distancia, lo he logrado, qué elegancia, ahora sienta mi fragancia. Pasa y pasa, el tiempo corre, yo tranquilo acá en la torre, controlando mis instintos y escuchando mis tambores. Sí, señoras y señores, tú me dejaste caer, pero ella me levantó. Y en la sangre que llevamos desde años y más años, desde que llevaba paño, la aventura me ha atrapado y en ella yo estoy atado. Nuevo hombre bien armado, sigo solo, no he parado, entrenado, disciplinado. Es mi mundo, en mi momento, esta es mi historia, este es mi cuento, demostrando mi talento. A mi Colombia represento y repido y pido a Dios que salve aquel corazón, que libere mi país del odio y la maldad, que termine la crueldad. Yo he aprendido a comprender el valor que tiene la vida.